20 outrageous football predictions for the season 2026-2027. Now, this was initially supposed to be like a whole Premier League predictions video, but I quickly realized that I don't care about that league anymore. That's like a whole topic on its own. But yeah, I decided to do something different. So like 4 years ago, I made like a whole predictions video on the year 2022. And I thought, you know what, why not try do something like that again? But this time I have 20 predictions for the season of 2026-2027. Most of them have like specific caveats to it and whatever. So I have all the predictions right in front of me here. We're gonna go through them right now. And also, if you have your own predictions that you'd like to say, you can, you know, list like 3 predictions in the comment section down below, and then we'll laugh at it in about like 9 months, like when we're in May or something, and we can laugh about this whole situation. But yeah, before we get into the video, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. I promise if you subscribe, you'll get a hug from Indie Never Radio or something, you know what I'm saying? Or if you're a woman that's watching this channel, really unlikely you'll get a hug from, I don't know, Jude Bellingham or something. I don't know. Y'all niggas were going crazy during the World Cup. Let's get into the video. Prediction number 1, Jan Diomande will have an underwhelming season for Real Madrid. Now, I decided to go with this one first because I see a lot of people you know, a lot of people do rate Jan Diomande like highly, right? And for someone who doesn't really rate him to the levels that you guys do, I feel like he might have an underwhelming season at Real Madrid for multiple reasons. Firstly, I don't really rate him all that much as like a football player, but I feel like signing for like a big club like Real Madrid for 140 something million as well, I think he might be the most expensive transfer. I don't care if you're like young or anything, if you're like 19, if you're like 14 or something, but if you're signing for 140 million, you need to be one of the best players in the team, without a doubt, bruh. And I don't really think he's like at the level of like the Yamals, the Olises of the world, the Vinicius, like all those guys. I don't really think he's at that level. And granted, he is young, right? So he can grow into that. I don't think he will, right? A better prediction would have been me thinking he's like overall like a complete flop, but I think I'll keep it to this season. I think the expectation of the price tag, I think, you know, just playing for Real Madrid as like a whole, this is one of the biggest clubs in the world. So like expectation playing for that Real Madrid team, right? The white jersey, this one, right? Okay, I'm not wearing one, but playing for that white jersey, there's like a lot of expectations that come with it. I feel like it's gonna have like a really underwhelming season for them. So yeah, that's prediction number 1. Prediction number 2. Enzo Maresca will be sacked by Manchester City. I feel like this is one of the most obvious ones I have on this list. If he doesn't get sacked, now I'll be so surprised, bruh. Like if he can turn around how this like season could go, right? I'll respect him forever. Right? I'll respect him forever. I didn't watch the Community Shield final, but I know that Arsenal really like apparently like dominated them the entire time. City didn't really look like a team that could compete, right? And even then you can look at like how the team is going. Pep is gone, most of their core players like Bernardo Silva, Rodri is gone, and then there's also other people like Savinho that might leave. Mamouche is also gonna leave. Like there's so many like big parts of Manchester City that are leaving, and for a team that's like in like a transitional phase since like last season, getting in like young players to get into their team, it is difficult to come back and, you know, compete at a high level. And also getting a manager who isn't really like at the level of Pep. Like there's a gigantic level. As good as you can be, there's a gigantic gap in terms of having one of the greatest managers of all time and someone who's still a manager based on potential in a sense. But I don't think Enzo Maresca will do well for Manchester City this season. I think he gets sacked in December. There's a lot of variables that will go into it, but I feel like by December, January, let me say, because that's normally the time managers get sacked, he will be going for Manchester City, and then they probably get Vincent Kompany. So that's prediction number 2, Enzo Maresca gets sacked. Prediction number 3, I think Messi will retire, but specifically between October and December. Before we get into like the September, October thingy, I think Messi has nothing left to prove. Like being so dead ass, I think he has nothing left to prove, especially after the last World Cup, bro. I feel like that was like, even then, after he won 2022, I did not want this guy to play the 2026 World Cup at all. I felt like there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do, and he still went on to the 2026 World Cup and performed exceptionally, even arguably having a better campaign than he did in 2022. But when you look at Messi's career, I feel like he's achieved so much. You could even argue and say, maybe there's a few things he could do with Inter Miami. He has almost like 100 goals and he already won the MLS with Inter Miami anyways. I like genuinely, I feel like there's nothing left for this guy to achieve in football. Maybe if he wanted to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup with Inter Miami, maybe it can be a situation of I won the UEFA Champions League and now I won the North American equivalent of it. You know what I'm saying? But even that, I don't think it would be a goal for Messi. Now, why I say specifically between October and December, that is when Messi will retire, in my opinion. Prediction number 4. Arsenal win the domestic treble but get eliminated in the Champions League very early. When I look at the Premier League, right, and I look at every other team compared to Arsenal now, I feel like Arsenal are like leaps and bounds above so many other teams, bro. Like it's so ridiculous. So I do think they definitely win the league again. And seeing how they performed in cup competitions last season, making both domestic finals and also going far in the Champions League final as well, right? I feel like we're going to see something similar to that this season. I think Arsenal have a really good squad to compete in every single thing. Again, you saw last season that they managed to compete in every single cup competition with a rotated squad as well. So when we look at this season, I feel like they can definitely go in and do the same thing. But in order to win this domestic treble, I feel like they might get eliminated early in the Champions League. Now, what is early? I'm thinking maybe the playoff rounds, which I don't think they'll play, or round of 16. That is what I'm thinking. I don't think quarterfinals is early. Either the playoff rounds, which I don't think they'll play, or the round of 16, they get shocked by someone and then they get knocked out. That is my prediction. So they win the domestic treble and they get knocked out early in the Champions League. Prediction number 5 is pretty a straightforward one. I think Neymar signs for Inter Miami in January. There's no logic towards this whole thing, right? Let's just assume my other prediction number 3, that Messi retires, it doesn't happen. Do you think that they would pass on one more opportunity to see MSN, but this time in the MLS, bro? Even though Suarez has like no knees, bro, cheese string knees, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even me, I would go on and stay up to watch at least one of those games, bro. And also, I feel like Neymar ending his career at Santos would be poetic, but at the same time, I don't think like Santos are at that level where they can compete for like the league, for example, or like the America, or like there's so many things that they could compete for as well, but I don't think they're at a good level to the point where they were about to get relegated if Neymar didn't, perform towards the end of the season. So I think Neymar going on to end his career with the greatest front three in history would be amazing, in my opinion. So, and will also be fun to see. Prediction number 6, I think one big nation will not qualify for the AFCON in 2027. Now, what do we consider a big nation? I think the first names that come to my head are Morocco, Egypt, Nigeria, Ghana, Algeria, Cameroon, DR Congo. I'll include South Africa as well. So I think those 8, right? Any of the 8 that I've named, maybe even Tunisia, but it is possible, to be fair. I think Ghana didn't make the last AFCON as well. It's completely possible. Even us, we could even get eliminated in the qualifiers. So a lot of things can go into it, but that's one of my predictions. I don't think one of the big nations goes to the AFCON. Prediction number 7, Lamine Yamal will have a 50+ goal contribution season, but it has to be 20+ goals. He can only have 20 goals minimum in that 50 GA plus season. And we've seen from the last few seasons that he is arguably one of the best players in the world. I think one criticism that I can give to him is that he hasn't really had that GA explosive season yet. And granted, he's only had 3 professional seasons anyways, and he's still 19. So there's still a lot of time for him to, get into that point where he can start stat padding seriously, like Messi and Ronaldo numbers, 60 GA, 70 GA, 80 GA seasons. I feel like this can be his first season where he can, explode in terms of goal contributions. And also, I don't really think he's the most impressive goal scorer. Also, that he's heavily reliant on his left foot, which does stop him from scoring a lot of goals. I get it, but as a left footer, I have a 1-star right foot, so it's really difficult to use this thing sometimes. But I feel like sometimes there are opportunities where Yamal can use his right foot, but he opts not to and then tries to go onto his left foot, and then the chance is gone. You know what I'm saying? So I hope, and I do predict that he will get more than 20 goals and will go on to have a 50 GA season, definitely, without a doubt. 50+ GA, by the way. Number 8, my prediction number 8 is Cristiano Ronaldo will not reach 1,000 goals this season. Now, at the time of recording, I think he is on 976 goals. So that means he's 24 goals away from 1,000. I think it's insane to predict that this guy won't get to 1,000 this season. I remember telling a few friends like earlier in the year that I don't think he gets it this year. I think definitely he will get it somewhere in 2027, but not in this season. But then it's also kind of crazy because he is scoring at like a crazy rate at Al Nassr. But at the same time, I feel like it's possible, bro. I'll keep the prediction though. I'll keep the prediction. Predicting Ronaldo to score less than 24 goals. We'll see. Prediction number 9. Jose Mourinho will have a public feud with someone at the club. Now, I added a caveat. I feel like it might be specifically with either Trent Alexander-Arnold, Arda Güler, or Endrick. Now, those people look like people that he would probably have a problem with. It's either Trent not defending well, or Endrick not taking his chances, or Arda Güler. He just looks like an emotional guy that you could take advantage of, bruh. Anyone else, I feel like Mourinho would have a go at, but would kind of understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like a Rudiger would probably understand it. Mbappe would probably understand it. Vinicius Jr. to a certain extent would also understand it. Bellingham would understand it. There's so many egos in that Madrid squad that I feel like would mesh well with Jose Mourinho. Compared to like a Trent, where I feel like if someone had to go on to him, he wouldn't like it. The same way with Arda Güler also as well. But I feel like Arda Güler, like, rage bait him once, bruh, it's over, dog. Like, he wanna leave the club, you know what I'm saying? And also, bruh, Mourinho's obviously gonna fight with someone, bruh. He has to fight with someone, like, especially I watched Mourinho as well, bruh. It has to happen. So yeah, that's my prediction for that one. Prediction number 10 is kind of straightforward. I don't think Brighton win the Conference League. I think from the additions, I think West Ham won, Roma won, Chelsea won, and then Crystal Palace? Yes, Crystal Palace won. So it's been 4 editions of the Conference League so far, and 3 of the teams are English. I feel like the financial backing that like the English teams usually get compared to like the other teams that compete in like this 3rd tier European competition is kind of unfair sometimes, and people already from the start just, you know, predict teams from England to win the competition. Rightfully so. I think their squads are otherworldly better than some of the teams in the thingy. But I feel like this season, I'd like to see a different winner. And I don't know who's in the competition, but I know that Brighton is, and they're not going to win it because of the Premier League. And I remember in the Europa League, they didn't really perform as good in that competition. So maybe in the Conference League, I think I see them going far, but they should get eliminated maybe in the quarterfinals or the semifinals. We'll see. Maybe even losing in the final. That would have been even better. So yeah, it's kind of a straightforward prediction for this one. Prediction number 11. Manchester United make the UCL quarterfinal. Now. Please wait. Let me explain. This is less of a prediction, but more of a test. I feel like United, weirdly enough, are cup specialists. Now, throughout the last few league seasons, we finished like 15th, 8th, 6th, and then, you know, excluding last season as well. But there's always like a weird thing where United seem to scam their way through like a specific campaign. Bring up an example: when we finished 8th under Ten Hag in the 23-24 season, we finished 8th. And we still managed to win the FA Cup. And in every single game, we've somehow managed to survive. The Coventry game in the semi-final, dog. Bottling a 3-0 win and then somehow beating Manchester City in the final. And then we look at Amram's first season where we finished 15th in the league and we somehow make a Europa League final. So I feel like this is more of a test to see how well we can do in the Champions League. Maybe do a deep run into getting to the quarterfinals, despite maybe performing badly in the league. You know what I'm saying? This is more of a test than a prediction. You know what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying. This is not a prediction. Like, again, disclaimer. I'm going to put it on here. Thank you. Sticking on the topic of the Champions League, in prediction number 12, I have Fenerbahce making a deep run in the Champions League. So last season, we saw Bodo Glimt try to do something like that. I feel like this season, Fenerbahce will definitely try to do a run in the Champions League. Granted, they haven't qualified for the Champions League yet. They are going to play, I think, Lyon in a semi-final. Let me check, hold on. Yes, next week, Wednesday, they're currently drawing 1-1 on aggregate with Lyon. They will be playing the second leg of this Champions League qualifier. But yeah, why specifically Fenerbahce? I remember seeing a screenshot of like this whole team and I was like, this is actually like a decent team. Already we have Ederson, Nelson Semedo, Milan Skriniar, Nathan Ake, N'Golo Kante, Guendouzi, the man who shall not be named, Talisca, Mudryk, the La Liga Ank, bruh. And then we look at their bench as well. Marco Asensio, Romelu Lukaku. Like, this team is like a proper like a mid-table Premier League team, or like a team pushing for Europa League or something, bruh. You can't tell me that this team doesn't make at least a deep run in the Champions League. Again, this prediction could blow up in my face by next week Wednesday if Lyon decide to win their home leg. So But yeah, that's just predictions, I guess. Prediction number 13, Cesc Fabregas will be managing a Premier League team before the end of the season. There are a lot of Premier League teams that don't convince me in the league this season. I feel like Aston Villa, they are selling a lot of people, and if they had to perform badly, maybe they sack Unai Emery. I think Newcastle United as well, with a new manager coming in and them losing a lot of players as well, might also be a team in doubt, and also might sack that guy as well. We don't know what he can offer to Newcastle United. I feel like there are a lot of opportunities for managers to get sacked and a lot of job opportunities for Cesc Fabregas to come in and manage in the Premier League. I feel like obviously people are linking him with jobs, like maybe potentially at like a Chelsea, or maybe in the future at Arsenal when Mikel Arteta decides to leave. I feel like this is like a good opportunity for Fabregas to show how good he is as a manager, because people don't really rate Italy, France, Germany. Like there's a lot of stigma around those leagues. So if he can come prove it in the Premier League, at least taking Newcastle back to Champions League or Europa League, or doing the same thing with an Aston Villa, just doing well in the Premier League can be a good advertisement to a lot of the clubs in the Premier League. This prediction is also reliant on someone getting sacked and also someone wanting Cesc Fabregas. Because people might go on and hire Sam Allardyce or something. Where is he, by the way? Hold on. Well, I don't think he has a job. He's like me. In prediction number 14, Newcastle United will finish in the bottom half of the table. Again, I kind of described it in the other prediction that I made about Cesc Fabregas. The team is falling apart slowly, and Eddie Howe also leaving. There's a lot of question marks around that Newcastle United team, and a lot of their players are kind of disappointing now. I think Voltemade started really well at Newcastle, but kind of fizzled on the way. And then you have people like Bruno G leaving, Tonali leaving, and then potentially Lewis Hall leaving as well. There's so many question marks around Newcastle, and them getting a new manager. I don't even know who that is. Hopefully he does well. But for my prediction, hopefully he doesn't do well. I also think he does get sacked around that December-January period. But I think they might be at least around the relegation zone at that point. But then a new manager does swoop in and try stabilize the whole thing. And then we see them probably finish 12th, 13th, 14th. Prediction number 15. To bring it back to Africa, I feel like a South African team will win both the Champions League and the Confederations Cup. Now, currently in the Champions League, we have Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates. And in the Confederations Cup, we have Kaizer Chiefs and Durban City. So to speak about the Confederations Cup a bit, I think they do have a decent enough squad to compete in the Confederations Cup, even though I do feel like the Confederations Cup this season is kind of competitive to a certain degree. But I feel like the coach that they have, Fernando de Cruz, does look like those kind of managers who prioritize the cups. And I feel like that's also a cup the way you can prioritize. And the squad is kind of good. I don't know on Durban City's side. I feel like they might fall to the wayside as well. So I'm not really relying on them. And then in the Champions League, I think Sundowns have every right to go into this competition and say that we can go on and win it again, right? And they have a really good squad, a really good coach as well. And then obviously Orlando Pirates, I look at them, surely we do it, right? That's why I didn't say specifically Orlando Pirates win the Champions League. At least it has to be between the both of them, right? Either one of them have to win the Champions League. Again, I'm speaking, right? I'm speaking, and Pirates are still in the preliminary rounds of the Champions League. We are not in the competition yet. Just not yet. So again, this could blow up in my face. Sticking on South Africa, in prediction number 16, I have finally we get a player to get a 20-goal season in the league. In the league. I'm not just saying all competitions, in the league. I think it's been a while, a proper while before. It's been a while since we had a player with 20 goals in the league, bruh. Let me even search this up, bruh. Hold on. It's been 5 seasons. It's been 5 seasons since the last time someone has scored 20 goals in the PSL. And that was Peter Shalulile. He netted 23 goals. Insane stuff. It's been 5 seasons. And I feel like this season, definitely, there is a chance of someone doing it. I'm not saying who. I'm not saying which club. I'm not saying most probably Sundowns are the culprits of this whole thing. Someone from there scores 20 goals, but hopefully someone from Pirates scores 20 goals. We're looking at Pedersen, not Mahopa or Butuma. No, I'm not trusting those guys, but hopefully someone does. Prediction number 17. I think we get a El Clasico in either the quarterfinals or the semi-finals of the Champions League. Now there are 2 forbidden games that can't happen in any competition. Argentina versus Portugal in the World Cup, or Real Madrid versus Barcelona in the Champions League. There have been so many opportunities for this thing to happen since 2011. That was like the last time, and weirdly enough, there's like two teams at their peak. That was the last time we saw an El Clasico happen in the Champions League. Since then, we've seen English teams play each other. We've seen Madrid derbies in 2 finals. And you're telling me we can't get an El Clasico in the Champions League? I think Madrid are looking to prove a point with Mourinho and, trying to get over this, trophyless season and stuff. Barcelona also trying to win their first Champions League since 2015 as well. So there's like a lot of things going into it. Again, I think it relies on someone finishing in the top 8 and the other person finishing in like those playoff rounds. So yeah, that has to happen. If they both finish in top 8, yeah, this prediction is probably gonna be dead. But we need to see this thing. But I feel like the day that happens, the internet is blowing up. Definitely. Number 18, another straightforward one. I think Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. makes his Al Nassr debut. This is based on Ronaldo potentially retiring this season, right? He's the type of guy to try to do that father-son gimmick in football, bro. We saw LeBron do it with Bronny James and stuff. I feel like he is the type of guy to give Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. his debut for Al Nassr. How old is that? He's like 14 or something. But they probably make the rule for him, bruh. They probably make the rule for him. So maybe towards the end of the season, after the league is wrapped up, we see a sub appearance. Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. wearing 77 for some reason coming on, and then we have the father-son moment. Fabrizio can, post about that whole thing, and then Ronaldo goes on and retires. Preferably without 1,000 goals for my prediction. Prediction number 19. I have Liverpool qualifying for the Conference League. I don't think these guys have a good squad. This squad really confuses me so much, bro. For like the money that they spent last season, and you look at the squad that they have currently, very, 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 very bad, bro. And losing Salah as well, who did have a bad season last season as well, right? But he was still one of their best players anyways. Now he's gone. And now your best winger is probably Cody Gakpo. Insane stuff. Florian Wirtz is still underperforming. We still yet to see Isak at his best. And then you look at that defense as well. Konate is gone. Robertson is gone. There's so many people that are gone. And then they also signed Araujo as well. So you have a washed Van Dijk and Araujo in that centre-back partnership. There's like a lot of things going on in that Liverpool team, right? Also, Andoni Iraola, a coach I really rate highly. I feel like Liverpool won't really give him that time to, go through the motions and like lose games anyways, right? Because they trying to get back into winning something, right? They were Premier League champions like 2 seasons ago. So there's like a lot of things that go on there. I feel like his style of play also doesn't suit how Liverpool play. Liverpool are like a pressing demon. Pressing demon, and I feel like that's completely different to how Iraola plays his football as well. So like there's a lot of variables that go into it. I do see them not qualifying for the Champions League or even the Europa League. They will be in the Conference League next season. So my 20th prediction is either Ferran Torres wins the league earned golden boot or gets loaned out in January. Now the thing is, the reasoning for this is, right, that PSG first team are only playing in Champions League, dog. They are signing a League One team, dog, to play in that league, right? Gonzalo Ramos, that was probably his role the entire time he was at PSG. And I feel like this is the role that Ferran Torres is going to fill. Because in the Champions League, that guy's not playing striker. He's not playing anywhere up front there. He will definitely be playing League One games the entire time and probably will win the Golden Boot. If it's not him overperforming, I feel like he'll underperform like crazy, like, and probably get loaned out to Juventus in January. So that's my prediction for that as well. Well, I was about to stop recording, but I see like a 21st prediction. My football take gets 3,000 subscribers. I think you can contribute to that, definitely. So since we're at the end of the video, I think you can go on and recommend this channel to a lot of people, right? Make sure they like this video, they subscribe to the channel, and get us to 3,000 subscribers by the end of next season. I think that is very possible. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, you like the video, and I'll see you on the next one. But for me now, it's been 10 to Alpha, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.